So I want to thank Saul. He put this entire event together. He said, "Ben, we have to do this." I said, "Sure. Just tell me where to show up and I'll be there." And everything you see here, he put together. The advertising, you name it. So he's a great event planner, and we're happy to share him with the island. If you guys need him, he'll be there for you. First, I want to thank the residents for coming out here tonight. So please just give yourselves a round of applause because you could be doing anything else. So please, thank you for coming. I'd also like to thank the owners, and I'd also like to recognize all the candidates we have here. So I want to recognize outgoing RIRA President Matt Katz, RIRA presidential candidate Ellen Pollaby, Jeff Escobar, who's the vice presidential candidate, RIAC board member Michael Shinazaki, RIAC board member Howard Pollaby, and RIRA Common Council members and candidates Sherry Helstein, Lynn Shinazaki, Joseph Strong, Romano Reed, who has left us, Layla Amatula, Elizabeth Stapin, Ethel Rome, and Howard Pollaby. You get recognized twice.
Thank you.
I'd also like to make sure that I recognize Jim from Forgive me. I'd also like to recognize Uncle Jim from the Roosevelt Island Disabled Association. What's your name?
Dolores Green.
Dolores Green. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to recognize you. I'd actually like to announce I'm actually now a member of Roosevelt Island Disabled Association after Jim told me about all of the great work that he does with that association, and we're hoping to help sponsor some of the great events he does. So thank you. And in terms of Roosevelt Island, how far do I go back with Roosevelt Island? My grandfather actually treated patients at Cooler Goldwater. So I remember all of his stories growing up about the elevator and treating the patients here. And then growing up here, I have Kitcher Miller, who I went to high school with and who joined us tonight. And actually growing up, I went to a small day school on the Upper East Side and spent weekends playing here with the other kids from my school and playing tennis and playing in the parks. And so I have a lot of positive memories. And I think one of the things I'll be working on with Saul is making sure that as many people in New York City and on the Upper East Side also know about some of the great events. I had the pleasure of coming here for Fall Arts Festival, and that was amazing. And we want to get as much out there so people aren't just coming for Four Freedoms Park, which we hope will bring a lot of tourism, a lot of business, but also come for all the amazing events that you guys do here, because it is such a family-oriented community, and it's one of the few that you find here. I was Assembly Member Bing's Chief of Staff, and while his Chief of Staff, I would find any excuse I could get to be on Roosevelt Island with him, and you guys just have the greatest events. In terms of what I stand for, we do have the open platform. Anyone can come up with an idea, put it up on kallosforcouncil.com, and share the idea. Other people from the community will vote on it. People will comment on it. We're going to have an open dialogue so that when we have controversial situations coming up, we'll be able to share in the community and say, this is what other people think. In addition to putting it online, we're also going to come out. So one of the things that I told Saul early on is I don't want to be a candidate or an elected official who's only here once a month to do constituent service hours. I want somebody on my staff full-time who lives on Roosevelt Island, because you're living and breathing it. If I had a staff person who gets in late because the F train, you just can't get on it, or because there's construction on the tram, or you name it, that's going to mean that I have a Roosevelt Island constituent in my office every day focusing on the issues that are important to Roosevelt Island. I have the privilege of working with Bill Long and Ellen on Democracy for Roosevelt Island. I support your right to elect members to the RIAC board and have the governor actually appoint them. I would love to see a law change, but until then I'd like them to honor the spirit of what's been there previously. In terms of working with Cornell, New York City Tech, and Technion, Saul already spoke to it. Saul goes to the meetings when I can't, lets me know what's going on. We need to make sure that they're considering using barges and anything they can to avoid impacting Roosevelt Island negatively during the construction. It's about working with them to have creative solutions and solve the problems before they happen. In terms of the Main Street retail corridor, I know everyone worked very hard on that and studying it and figuring out how we can revitalize it. But at the same time we're doing that, we also have to reserve community businesses and community organizations like Gallery Riva, who was there when no one else wanted to be there, and established a community center for the arts. And we need to support those and support the businesses that are already there while we expand and grow. We also have a charter mandate on this island for affordable housing, and we have to make sure that as we grow that that's preserved. Also, there are so many issues. Generally, the most easiest things is I could have shown up here and say, oh, affordable housing, public safety, education, and lower taxes. Those are everyone's 4 issues anywhere. Here you have very different issues, and of course those 4 issues still matter. In terms of public safety, I'm against giving tasers to public safety or campus security or what have you. I grew up in the generation of please don't tase me, bro. So we also have that on YouTube if you haven't, check it out. I'm a member of Transportation Alternatives. I'm an avid biker. I do their Century every year. I'll bike 75 miles around the 5 boroughs. I would love for there to be bike share on this island. One of the reasons I'm running is I'm a member of Community Board 8. I've been a member since 2007. And I went to a meeting about bike share, and Roosevelt Island was missing. So the first thing I did was pick up the phone, call Matt Katz and say, hey Matt, we talked about bike share, you guys did your own pilot program, aren't you supposed to be part of that? And he said, yes. So I worked with Ellen and Jeff and Rira and Matt to pass a resolution at the community board, pass a resolution on Roosevelt Island Residents Association, and we said, at the very least, give us a stop at the tramway, and please, when you roll it out, include Roosevelt Island with Queens and the Upper East Side. So, unfortunately, due to technology problems, it didn't launch in June, but we're hoping that when it does launch, we will definitely have the stop at the tramway. And if we can just give Rira and community board members a round of applause for that, because that was pretty impressive. So with that, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to turn it over to the Rira presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate in that order. And thank you all for letting us have such a long speaking program. So without further ado, here is Ellen Holliday.